Well, happy Valentine's Day, everyone. What a day for you and your sweetheart. If you don't have a sweetheart, guess what? You're okay. Okay? It's good, right? Happy Valentine's Day belated to all the ladies. Hopefully you're able to know how valued you are, especially by all of us here. We're going to talk about love, and if that makes you uncomfortable, just remember it's your priest talking about it. So to make you even more uncomfortable, when you fall in love with someone, you don't really choose it. It kind of happens, yeah? It just kind of happens. You're like, oh, be still my heart. And it makes you do crazy things. As I was driving 40 minutes to a movie to hang out with some young lass who was my age, senior year of high school, I thought, am I in love? I thought, no, I'll put that out of my mind. I'm just hanging out with her because she's cool. And as we were holding hands in the movie, I thought, this is not friend behavior. And what made this very interesting was that I was already accepted at this point, and I thought, I don't think I'm supposed to be going on dates. I think they made that pretty clear up front. So you just kind of notice all of a sudden, like, that person, I can't get him out of my head. That person just starts to be someone who motivates you. When you fall in love with someone, you start to make changes in your life. Bro, we haven't seen you in a long time, dog, bro. or however, poor Matthew, he's just like, please don't try to act our age. I'm like, I'm not. That's just like what's so embarrassing about it is because like I don't pretend to, Good. Okay. But in that, it's like, wow, he totally launched himself into 38. Really? Oh, yeah, with a bang, right? But you start to make changes because all of a sudden things are different. Notice, and I would just want to see any of you who have been in a committed relationship before, have any of you moved across the country or moved or changed your plan because of that person? Yeah, just a show of hands, just so. Yeah, I'm not crazy. Yeah, like I had a friend where I was like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, I can't live without her. I was like, so you're going to move across the country, change your career, and then go back to school and do this again? He's like, yeah. I was like, Mazel tov, like that's great. Like I'm like that's just really impressed because, and then when I met her, I was like, oh. You're not wasting my friend's time. Like, he's head over heels for you. And it makes you do crazy things. Absolute crazy things. Back to my love life. When I was smitten by a young lass in our final weeks of 8th grade, I know. This is when love blossoms. Last week of 8th grade. I just started to steal my neighbor's flowers. Every day, I would rush out and snip a little rose, and then I would bring it to class, and I'd go, here. No, sorry, Arthur. But I'd be like, here. Her name was Jenny. Yes, yeah. And then she broke up with me. I know, I'm still getting over it. Because we lived on different sides of the parish. And I couldn't bike down that busy road. Manchester's a busy road.
Oh, yeah.
But it just makes you do crazy things, sometimes even criminal things like me, noticing just this change in you. Because when you love someone, you'll do anything to stay in their good favor. Please don't be mad at me. Please accept this gift. Please, I just want to spend time with you. And when you love someone, what happens is there's a vulnerability because after a while, the first couple of dates, that you can put on your best self, but then you start to notice that you can't hide who you really are anymore, yeah? I'm sure some of you have embarrassing dating stories, right? Or maybe things didn't go just according to plan. And the people that, if you're still in this relationship, maybe, that was it, because it was that bad. But if you're still in that relationship, you notice that that person receives you as you are. And they're like, that's not too much for me. You're like snot bubble tear crying and like, ah. It's like, okay, like I'm with you. It's okay. Because they realize in the same way that as they're revealing their heart to you, that there's a risk of being rejected, and yet you haven't rejected them. When you love someone, you have to say you're sorry. You just have to. Because, especially, gentlemen, we're a bunch of slugs, And we keep like running headlong into stuff and doing dumb things, right? But in the middle of that, recognizing that, ladies, you too, in your moments of weakness, have to say you're sorry because we mess up. And someone that really loves you is able to say sincerely, I forgive you. Not that some of those things are excusable, and sometimes there have to be changes, maybe even changes in the relationship because of the gravity of some of those offenses. But love, and when you love someone, you have to say you're sorry. When you love someone, eventually, they meet the family. And it's funny when, family and friend groups, when I meet my friends' significant others, I was like, how you doing? John? It's like, hi. I'm like, yeah, that's father. That's you. Yeah, You're going to date my friend. Actually, it's Monsignor. And just this moment of like the scared part of like that person. If you've ever met your significant other's family, there's a little like, what are they going to think of you? Because that's their blood, right? That's the people that mean most to them. And I think this is true of falling in love with Jesus. Oh, I'm sorry, you came to church on Ash Wednesday, right? I'm going to talk a little bit about Jesus, yeah? Jesus, when you fall in love with Jesus, it's unexpected because it transcends the books, it transcends the rigor and the routine of religion. It just happens because he loves you. And there's this moment in your life where maybe just you let your guard down a little bit and you get to see what really loving Jesus is all about. And it changes everything. And people are like, wait, why weren't you at the thing on Wednesday? You went to church? Yeah, it wasn't just because it would make my mom happy. It was because, there's something about Jesus that I love. I love him. And then you start to do crazy things, less crime, right? And more just like, you create quiet time. You make changes. You might even move and do other different things that people might not understand. But when they come to meet your love too, they think, oh, this isn't worth your time. A waste of time. Sorry. Get those words back. Good thing we're not recording this, right? Okay, anyway. But in the middle of that, just to recognize, you're going to have to say you're sorry. Because we're feeble and broken. And what does Jesus do in those moments? He doesn't lord it over us. He says, I love you, and I forgive you. Can we start again? It's not doing that. It's not helping our relationship any, but I don't define you by that. I define you by my love. And then you get to meet the family, which is us, all of us. The Catholic Church, to put it lightly, is a mess. It's an absolute mess. But you know what? I'm happy to have a seat at the table. And I'm happy to sit around the table with all of you and just be like, we are a mess. Pass the soup, right? And just to share in community and to recognize that we don't have it all together, that we're striving, but we still really need to recognize that the Lord at the head of the table is just so proud that we're willing to let him love us and that we get to share in community as the body of Christ together. I really hope that Lent for you is less about doing Lent well and more about becoming more and more like Jesus. To fall head over heels in love with Jesus during this season. And what you're doing or not doing in any sort of Lenten routine is just to create space for that love to blossom. Let Lent be the montage in the movie where they're skipping through the field or whatever, and he buys her the bagel and she buys him the newspaper, blah, blah, blah. It's like every 90s movie. Well, not Die Hard. No, Die Hard, yeah, okay, at the end, okay. But just recognizing that in this way, you have the opportunity to let Lent be what it is literally called, springtime. That's what Lent means. What if this was a springtime for your relationship with the Lord? What if it was something where your friends are just maybe like marveling at how you are just not fazed by those things anymore, or you're not swayed into those things that are destructive, and you're inviting them to be better versions of themselves because they never knew it was possible, because they're no longer defined by those hurts, but they're defined by your kindness. They're defined by the love that God has filled you up with and then flows into their lives. And by committing to being signed with the ashes tonight, think about it, to be signed with the garish symbol of death and destruction, you're also saying that you understand that the reason why the cross existed in Jesus' life, that he allowed himself to be nailed to it, was out of love for you. And you're saying, I'm proposing now to start to live in a whole new way. Look, I know that love throughout the world has a lot wrong with it, and that there's a lot of people that have been hurt because they opened up their hearts thinking that it would be received, and it wasn't. Maybe that's even happened with you in the church, I don't know. But I think with Jesus, what's so important for you to hear tonight is this. With Jesus, you are being met in perfect love. In perfect love. And maybe that's startling for us to be met in perfect love because we've never experienced anything like it. But if you trust enough that Jesus is who he says that he is, I think you'll find, like I have, that that perfect love is worth receiving and pursuing. And then living that way, you start to find the meaning and the true purpose of your life. To fall in love with Christ and to share that love abundantly through the uniqueness of your life and your encounter and your story. That's my prayer for us as we begin this Lenten season, and I'm just so happy that you're here this evening to journey with us.